Draco strides through the locker room doors, a familiar smirk on his face as he heads toward his locker. He's flanked by Crab and Goyle, his loyal companions, as they banter back and forth with each other. The metallic clinking of locks and shifting of equipment fills the air, blending with the low rumble of their voices. As they reach their lockers, Crab turns to Draco with a hint of excitement in his voice.
Think we'll have another undefeated season this year, Malfoy?
Of course, Draco replies, his smirk growing as he unlocks his locker. Gryffindor's team is a joke, as usual, and the new Hufflepuff Seeker is too green to pose a challenge.
Crab nods eagerly, clearly thrilled with the confidence in Draco's words.
Goyle chimes in, adding his own bit of wisdom. You've been flying circles around them since, well, forever.
Draco chuckles, his ego clearly inflated by his friend's praises. Well, that's to be expected. I am the best Seeker Slytherin has ever seen. It's a shame the school's too daft to recognize my skill. He continues his attempts to open the locker, but it seems to be stuck. He tugs on the handle again, frustrated. This bloody thing. Seems like Madam Hooch forgot to oil the locks this year. Draco manages to wrench the locker open, but his expression immediately clouds with shock and anger. His new Nimbus 2001 broomstick is nowhere to be seen. Instead, there's an old, battered clean sweep one. He stares at it in disbelief for a moment before letting out an irritated huff.
Crab quickly picks up on his mood, voicing the obvious concern. Where's your broom?
With a scowl, Draco looks away from his locker to see that Goyle and Crab's lockers are open, revealing that their brooms have also been swapped. Their faces mirror his own disbelief and frustration.
Crab speaks up again. Looks like they all got swapped, mate. Not just yours.
His annoyance boiling over, Draco slams his locker shut with a thud. He turns on his heel, his eyes darting around the locker room for any signs of the culprit. Is this some kind of prank? He repeats, his voice rising. This isn't funny. He storms out of the locker room, his gaze sharp and searching as he scans the area. He's hoping to catch a glimpse of the person responsible, eager to make whoever is behind this pay. Draco bounds out onto the Quidditch field, the fresh evening air filling his lungs. He quickly scans the area, his eyes darting from one pillar to another, searching for any signs of movement in the surrounding shadows. His eyes narrow as he pauses at each pillar, his expression a mix of anger and determination. He mutters to himself, whoever did this is dead meat. Draco's sharp eyes catch sight of a brief gleam from a distant pillar. His gaze fixes on the group of students, their shadows just visible behind the pillar. A satisfied smirk tugs at the corner of his mouth. Got you, he mutters under his breath, his eyes narrowing in on the figures, barely concealed by the shadows. Draco strides across the field with purpose, the grass under his cleats crunching softly as he approaches the hidden group. Goyle and Crab trudge after him, their slower pace struggling to keep up with his determined gait. Draco's eyes remain fixed on the figures behind the pillar, his smirk growing wider. Keep up, you two. We're not letting whoever did this off easy. As Draco approaches the pillar, the figures break apart, each darting off in different directions, clearly intending to scatter. Draco's smirk turns to a scowl as he realizes he can't chase all four of them. He growls, turning to Crab and Goyle. Split up. Find those idiots and don't lose them. Crabby and Goyle nod, their eyes narrowing in determination. They split up in different directions, their heavy footsteps pounding against the grass as they each head towards one of the fleeing figures. Draco turns his attention back to the figure closest to him, you, and his eyes fix on you with steely resolve. He runs after you, his long legs a distance between you quickly. You dart up the stairs, finding a spot behind a wall to hide. You press your back against the cool stone, catching your breath and trying to control the pounding of your heart. The silence of the corridor is broken only by your own ragged breaths. Draco, having caught the glimpse of your figure disappearing up the stairs, makes his way after you. His footsteps echo through the empty hallways, getting closer with each step. Of course, it's those damn Gryffindors. Should have known they were behind this. His eyes dart down the corridor, looking for any sign of movement. He knows you're close, but he has to be careful not to let you slip away. You freeze as Draco approaches, your breath coming in short, panicked gasps. As his footsteps grow louder, you dare not move, knowing the slightest sound could give you away. The silence stretches out, your heart pounding in your ears. You press yourself even harder against the wall, hoping to merge with the shadows, to become invisible. Despite the tense situation, a small chuckle threatens to escape your throat. The thrill of hide and seek, combined with the absurdity of the situation, is almost too much to keep contained. You quickly cover your mouth, trying to stifle the laughter bubbling within you. You're terrified of being discovered, yet a part of you can't help but find this whole scenario oddly amusing. Draco continues down the corridor, his footsteps growing fainter as he searches for you. However, the sound of your stifled laugh, barely catching his ears, causes him to freeze in his tracks. His eyes narrow as he strains to hear any other sounds, his expression a mix of irritation and curiosity. Is someone laughing? Draco's smirk widens as he catches the sound of laughter again, his instincts immediately pinpointing your location. His footsteps become slow and deliberate as he turns around, making his way towards the sound. He approaches your hiding spot stealthily, his footsteps so quiet they hardly echo through the corridor. As he nears the wall, where you're concealed, he lunges forward suddenly, pressing you against the wall, pinning your back against the cold stone. A surprised gasp escapes your lips as you're suddenly pinned against the wall. Draco's strong grip holds you in place, his hand pressing against your shoulder. His smirk transforms into a satisfied grin as he looks at you, his eyes gleaming in the semi-darkness of the corridor. Well, well, what have we here? He taunts, his voice a low whisper. Draco's voice drops to a sultry tone, a hint of satisfaction evident in his words. Caught you. He presses his body closer, trapping you between the stone wall and his lean frame. His gaze locks onto yours, his grey eyes glinting with a mix of amusement and mischief. He leans in closer, his breath hot against your ear, as he continues in a soft whisper. Now, what should I do with you? Draco's smile broadens as he hears your quickening breaths, clearly relishing the effect he's having on you. He leans even closer, his head tilted towards your ear, his breath ghosting over your skin. He speaks in a soft, almost velvety tone, teasing you with his words. Oh, something funny about pulling a prank on me, is there? He asks, his lips barely brushing against your earlobe as he speaks. Draco's voice remains low and dangerously soft, his grip on you tight but not painful. Well, miss, he purrs, drawing out the words. If I were you, I wouldn't have done that. He leans even closer, his lips hovering just centimeters from yours, his presence almost overwhelming. His eyes scan your face, taking in every reaction, every flutter of your eyelashes. Draco's head tilts slightly as he studies your face, his gaze becoming more focused. Draco's tone turns serious, a hint of warning in his voice. Stay away from them, he says, his gaze firm. He straightens up slightly, his hand dropping from your shoulder, but his body still maintains its closeness. Potter and his friends are trouble. You don't want to get involved in their nonsense. Draco's voice is filled with a mix of frustration and pride. If I had caught him instead of you, he states, his gaze sharp, I would have beaten him. He got lucky today. The thought of a missed opportunity of getting back at Potter clearly irks him, his jaw clenching slightly as he speaks of it. Yet, there's a hint of relief in his expression, almost as if he's glad it was you he caught, rather than Harry Potter. His expression softens slightly, the stern edge fading a bit. He looks at you, his gaze flickering over your face, searching for any signs of defiance or mockery. But all he finds is genuine remorse. A moment of silence passes between you both, the tension in the air slowly dissipating. Then, with a resigned sigh, he loosens his grip on your shoulders, his voice slightly softer than before. Don't be. Draco notices the slight change in your expression, your eyes widening a fraction. He cocks his head, his gaze becoming more curious. He steps closer, his body almost touching yours again, as if drawn to the subtle shift in your demeanor. "You're not what I expected," he remarks, his voice low. Draco's hand moves gently, his fingers brushing against your cheek as he tucks a stray lock of hair back into place. His touch is surprisingly tender, almost as if he's unable to pull away from the moment. In a low, velvety whisper, his lips graze your ear, sending a shiver down your spine. "You're so quiet," he murmurs, a hint of fascination in his voice. "For a little prankster." As you try to push him back, Draco's reflexes are quick. He moves closer, pinning you back against the wall, his body pressed against yours. His hands plant themselves on either side of your head, trapping you between the cold stone and his lean frame. A smirk tugs at the corner of his lips as he notices the nervous way you're shifting, his grey eyes studying you with amused curiosity. "Going so soon," he murmurs, his breath hot against your skin. Despite your gasp, Draco doesn't back away. He keeps you trapped against the wall, his body pressing against yours. His hands remain planted on either side of your head, effectively keeping you in place. His smirk grows wider at the sound of your gasp, a hint of satisfaction visible in his gaze. "Not so fast," he whispers, his voice almost a low purr. "We're not done yet." Despite the tense situation, Draco remains curious about the prank on his broom. He leans in closer, his face only a few inches away from yours, and asks, "Aren't you going to tell me how you managed to switch my broom?" There's a hint of mockery in his tone, but also a touch of genuine interest. He clearly wants to know how you and the others pulled off the switch, his gaze fixed on you, waiting for an answer. Draco's smirk fades a fraction as he absorbs your words. He leans back a bit, his eyebrows raised in surprise. "A transfiguration spell?" he repeats, his voice losing some of its sharpness. "You mean you used magic to turn my broom into that rubbish I found earlier?" He seems almost begrudgingly impressed. Draco lets out a huff of disbelief, his smirk returning as he realizes you're not lying. "Unbelievable," he mutters, his eyes still locked onto your face. He reaches up, running a hand through his platinum hair as he tries to understand how you and the others managed to outsmart him. "You Gryffindor miscreants are full of surprises," he remarks, his tone both irritated and begrudgingly impressed. Draco's expression changes again, his interest piqued by your information. "So, a mutatio lignum spell will change my broom back to its original form?" He furrows his brow in thought, processing the news. He seems to be considering something as he looks at you, his gaze lingering on your face. Draco studies you for a moment, his expression a mixture of annoyance and fascination. "You seem to be quite knowledgeable about magic," he remarks, his voice betraying a hint of curiosity. He steps back slightly, giving you a bit more space, but still maintaining his proximity. He folds his arms, leaning back against the wall as he regards you. "How do you know so much about spells?" he asks, his gaze sharpening slightly, as if trying to uncover more about the hidden depths of your character. Just as Draco was about to engage in further conversation, the sound of heavy footsteps interrupts the moment. Goyle and Crabbe come charging around the corner.
"Malfoy," Crabby gasps, out of breath. "There you are. We've been looking everywhere for you."
Goyle manages to catch his breath, speaking between gasps. We caught the culprit," he says, his tone full of triumph.
"It was that nasty Potter."
Draco's expression clouds at the mention of Harry Potter. He frowns, annoyed at hearing the name of his rival mentioned. As Goyle and Crabbe continue talking to Draco, distracting him, you seize the opportunity to slip away. Draco is engrossed in their conversation, his attention fully on them. You dart out of his view, quickly and silently making your escape through the corridor, disappearing into the shadows before he even realizes you're gone. Draco's attention snaps back to your absence as he realizes you've vanished. His eyes scan the corridor, searching for any signs of your escape. Damn it, he mutters, his face darkening in annoyance. He quickly interrupts Crab and Goyle, his gaze still flicking from side to side, searching for your shadow. Be quiet, he snaps at them, his voice sharp. She got away.
Goyle's expression turns to confusion as he watches Draco searching the corridor. He asks, "Who was that? Who got away?"
Yeah, who was it? Another one of Potter's little friends?
Shut it, Draco snaps at them, his irritation growing. He turns to face them, his expression a mix of annoyance and thoughtfulness. I don't know who it was, he replies, his tone curt. But I have a feeling we'll be seeing her again soon.